Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Stoof. Welcome to my painting channel. Today I thought it would be a nice day to paint the day lilies that are blooming in my backyard. I cut one and brought it in for you guys to see. So this is what we're going to be painting. I took a photograph of it outside, so I'm going to be referencing my photograph. I saved it right here for you guys if you want to see what I'm referencing while I'm painting. So just grab the materials that I have linked below in the description and you can follow along with me and we'll make this painting together. Alright guys, here is my setup for our painting that we're going to make. Here I have my 12-inch by 16-inch canvas, I have an easel, I have a cup for water, I have my acrylic paint set here, and I have a paper towel and some paint brushes. The brushes I'm using today are two larger brushes just for getting some color on pretty loosely at the beginning. And then I have two medium-sized brushes. One of these brushes is a flat-tipped brush and the other is a round-tipped brush. And that's everything that we need, so we're ready to get started. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is dip my round-tip medium brush into the water and then just kind of pat that brush onto my palette and mix a little bit of brown and green, just setting like a nice base color and getting a little bit more water, making very, very, very thin paint. And I'm going to mark out where my flower is going to go. So in general, my flower is going to take up about this much of the painting. Center of the flower right here. And now I'm gonna paint where my petals are gonna go. And this is background, this is the background. All right, so we have our flower sketched out. Next, I'm gonna sketch where we have some petals, or not petals, buds, flower buds. Two flower buds there. Got a couple here. This stem. And these are the only things that are going to be in focus. The rest of this painting is out of focus, so we're going to use very soft, dry brush strokes to show everything out of focus, and we're going to make nice crisp lines where we have our flower in focus and these flower buds on their stems in focus as well. All right, so I'm going to switch to using my larger brush here and I'm gonna clean off that brush a bit. I'm gonna use some brown, some white, a little bit of the cold blue, a little more cold blue. You guys see this color I'm mixing here? And I'm gonna throw this up here. This is where my sidewalk was. getting darker towards the bottom, so I'm going to add some black and some more blue, where this is in shadow. I'm going to use some brown, some black, a little bit of green, and fill in down here. So right now I'm just painting the shadows that are going to be mostly covered up by the blades of the flower stems and grass, but it's good to get this base down first and then paint over it later. Now I'm gonna use my medium-sized round tip brush here, and I'm going to paint the buds on the flowers. This color looks like it's a mix of my orange, yellow, my yellow, some green, and white. Just gonna make sure we don't leave any white in between the background and where I drew this flower bud. I'm rinsing out the water in my brush, and I'm going to continue using this medium round tipped brush. And now I'm going to get a good coating of my darker red and start painting the flower. And if you made your stem come up a little bit too high, or you need to cover something up, you simply paint over it. Just make sure you use a thicker coating and make sure that whatever you're painting over has already dried so you don't blend the colors by accident. Now, as I was painting this flower, I realized that I missed a section of my background, so I'm going to go back and color that in. Tried to match that color the best that I could. A little bit of red bled through, but that's okay. We're going to cover this up. There. Cleaning off my brush again, and going to use my yellow-orange color for the inside of this flower. First, I'm just putting a base color down for both the inside of the flower and the outside of the flower. The inside is this orange-yellow, and the outside is that red. So I'm going to be blending the colors here, but first I just want to generally mark out where things are going to go. Let's see, so our background is still drying, so I don't want to touch the background yet. I think I'm going to work on the buds on the flowers here. I'm going to switch to using my flat tip brush for this because I want to make a nice sharp line. Dry it off on my paper towel, and I'm going to take that orange-yellow color and touch up some of these. I'm going to add a highlight here with some white. Since the paint is still wet, the white blends in a bit. And that's what I want, so that's okay. So now I blended some cool blue with my cool red to get the shadows and darker parts of the daylily. The red paint is still wet, so it is blending. Cleaning off my brush. Now blend my orange yellow with some brown. I made that line way too thick, so I'm going to go back with my red and cover up part of that line to make it thinner. Using some of my warm red to blend that yellow orange into my cool red. Blending some of my yellow with my orange yellow. The more you paint, the easier it is to tell how hard you need to push onto the canvas. Right now I'm very, very gently and lightly using my brush just to try to put these lighter colors over those darker colors without them blending in too much, like right there. Okay, now the background is almost dry, so I am gonna take a 5-minute break and I'm gonna come back and paint the stems that are out of focus in the background. So painting the background was a very repetitive process, so I put this in fast forward for you. Basically what I did here was I painted the long lines for the blades of grass using different cool green shades. I started with the shadow tones and then I went back over these blades with highlights in places where the sunlight was reaching them. You'll also notice that the blades of grass near the top of the painting are smaller than the blades of grass that I painted at the bottom of the painting. The blades of grass at the top are farther away from us, from where I took this photo, so by painting them smaller, it gives a sense of perspective for this painting. One of the final touches I usually make on my paintings to make them look photorealistic is to boost the contrast. So I will go back in, I will make the shadows darker in places, I'll make the highlights brighter. That's what I'm doing right now. Those extra little bits of contrast really make things pop, and they make them look more like the photograph and more realistic. So that's what I like to do with my style of painting.